What's going on, everyone? So, Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich were at MegaCon, and of course, were asked about the upcoming Scream 7 and talked about how Skeet was in Scream 6, and obviously he was in Scream 5. And, hey, Matthew Lillard, he's been wanting this forever, right? And even Matthew Lillard said, right? I've been asked 1,000 times a year, every year since the first Scream movie, right? He's like, anytime I meet somebody, it's the first thing people ask is like, are you going to be in the next Scream? Are you going to be in the next Scream? Are you going to be in the next Scream? And it's something that he's really passionate about. And even Skeet said, like he's really passionate about it. He always wanted to come back in some capacity, in some form, something that he loves and holds dear to his heart and all that stuff. And they had this nice little moment. But then Matthew Lillard got up and, did a little joke, right? Because he was asked, right? Like, okay, so out here in the film, he's like, yes, I come back, and I come back as a fairy godmother, right? And, I'm going to come around, what do you say, something about like slay or something like that. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but, you can watch the clip online. And he talks about, slaying and all this stuff, and, it's just, everyone laughs. It's kind of like this joke, and it's this moment, and it's like, oh, okay, like, that was good. That was interesting. But then we got people, Critical Overlord being one. He's one of the first people I saw, so I used his comment. And he says, fairy godmother is a clue. I'm just not sure he said that on purpose. If he said that on purpose, right? I find that very interesting. Now, obviously I don't know anything. Not an insider. I don't have any like source or anything like that. It's just my speculation and things. But so if he's this, so he says that he's a fairy godmother. He's coming back as a fairy godmother. Now, was that intentional? Was that cryptic? Or was that just like a slip up in something, right? Most people in passing probably wouldn't even notice anything, wouldn't even think anything. But, a lot of people are saying like that was a clue. They're not what the clue is, obviously. They're not trying to spoil it, but they're saying it's a clue. And, so the question becomes like, what capacity is Matthew Lillard coming back in, right? He's coming back as Stu, but that could be a million things. It could be an hallucination. It could be a flashback. It could be a callback. It could be, anything. I'm leaning more and more to, and actually recorded a different Stu Macher video, but then we got this, and so I'll post that other Stu video later. But just the information we keep getting, I'm leaning more and more to Leslie Macher is Ghostface in this upcoming Scream. Or one of the Ghostface. Maybe even the mastermind, if they do the cult route. And I can really see something where, like, it is set up to make it seem like it's Stu. And, like, I've talked about this very idea back to, like, Scream 5. So maybe they're fans of the channel here. But I could see something where, it's led you to believe that Stu is still alive, that Stu Macher's the killer, this, that, and the other. And then ultimately it gets revealed that it's Leslie. Right? Again, I don't know. This is just speculation, right? It's just, we're talking through some stuff, right? So I think that could be a fun, creative way. And then, maybe you could have some little flashbacks and callbacks and stuff and kind of have Stu be in this movie, because also supposedly he's supposed to play a big part in a big role, right? Or have a big part in it. That doesn't necessarily mean as a character, right? Like, big part could just be like the story is centered around Stu and stuff like that, but Stu could still be dead, right? Like, it doesn't mean that he's alive just because he's supposed to be important to the film. There's a lot of ways that it could be about it. This could tie into the original, and Billy and Stu both are significant and important, right? So, like, obviously we don't know any of like the key details and stuff like that. And, most people don't want to know that stuff. Some people don't care, but, it's just, I really could see them go that. Because, they set up and established Leslie Macher for a reason, right? We all kind of were like, okay, that's interesting. She's probably going to be Ghostface at some point, right? Like, I think that was like a general consensus thought when we saw and heard, because we didn't see her, but heard, Leslie Macher, Stu's sister, is out there. And it was kind of like, the only thing that I think is silly about the Stu storyline is like, why did it take 30 years for you to come around? right? Like if you were going to like go after Stu or avenge Stu or anything like that, wouldn't it take you less than 30 years, right? Like, wouldn't you, I don't know, like do it within the first 5 or something? Like, it's just that's my biggest hurdle to get over, right? If you bring Stu back, and look, very possible Stu comes back, but it's also very possible that it's in other capacities, right? If Matthew Lillard was the only one to have came back, I think it would be more likely that it's just that he's coming back as Ghostface, right? That he's coming back as alive, right? Like they're gonna go incorporate that. But they have like all the killers coming back, right? So, but Stu is one of the first. So that's what I'm talking about. Like him having a big part in an important role is likely just the connection and tie it, right? That the story kind of centers around Stu Macher to some capacity, right? And if that's the case, then again, I lean even more to Leslie Macher. But I'm curious, like I'll have to break it down more in depth on a Leslie Macher video, right? But I mean, obviously we know he's in the film, and then it's just at this point it's just speculation of what you want, right? Personally, I'm somebody that doesn't want Stu to come back as alive, right? Like, I don't mind seeing him, right? Matthew Lillard's great. I love Matthew Lillard, right? And Stu is an incredible character. But I don't want him back, like, oh, after 30 years, I'm back and alive. And it's just like, really? I don't want that. Because there's just too many holes in that. It's just like, where's he been the last 30 years? There's no mention. He literally, the FBI has him listed as dead. So he can't just be in, like, a psych ward or a jail. I mean, even the whole thing, like, because people talk about, like, well, Mindy said, if you believe that, the conspiracies and stuff. Okay, well, then, even if that was true, right? He couldn't be in prison or a psych ward or anything, right? Because if he was, everyone would know he's alive. There wouldn't be any questions about, like, oh, is he alive or dead? No, it'd be like, he is alive. We know he's alive. He's in prison or he's in a psych ward, right? There wouldn't be anything about, like, oh, he's, maybe he's out there somewhere, right? So you'd have to like, where has he been the last 30 years? That's the biggest question you have to answer. But if it's Leslie Macher, which I still think would be silly, just because, again, it's like, where have you been 30 years, right? Like, you've just been setting up this plan the last 30 years? And it's not like the last few Ghostface have targeted Sydney, right? Like, Sydney wasn't a target in Scream 5. She showed up to help. They didn't know she was going to be back. And then Scream 6 didn't even have her. So you can't even, like, do, like, I tried to, hey, like like Avengers, like, when he's like, I'll do it, Thanos, when he's like, I'll do it myself, right? Like, so you can't even make that argument. I don't know, it's interesting, right? Obviously, he's in the film in some capacity. I mean, that's been confirmed, without a doubt. We just don't know to what level, what degree. I have said numerous times that I believe if you were ever going to do it and bring him back as Stu Macher, this is the time to do it. But I don't know. I personally am not a fan of the idea. I personally would like them to stay away from that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What did you make of Matthew Lillard's comments? Do you think he's back in the upcoming Scream film as, like, alive? Obviously, again, we know he's in the movie. Just in what capacity do you think he'll be in the movie in? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.